So this is a very brief introduction, a guide to Zoom for students. Our topics about Zoom, getting into Zoom, inside Zoom once you're there, if you've got problems, what can you do, and learning in Zoom. So starting out, now basically Zoom's a place to meet up online. So we call it a Zoom meeting. You can see here a random picture of Twitter. You see people in your Zoom meeting and carry on conversations, and you may receive some input from your teacher. So getting into Zoom, what you need an internet connection. You need your mic and webcam. You can do this via a phone or a computer. And in the process of getting online, you'll download a little piece of software. So to get into Zoom, you need to know the web address for the meeting and sometimes a password. In current times, Zoom is changing some of their protocols and sometimes passwords are required. Occasionally also there may be a meeting waiting room that you get put in before you start. But this here is what a Zoom web address for a meeting looks like. So you may get an email from your tutor. It may look something like this. Just click on the Join Zoom Meeting link. You'll go somewhere else where it'll say open. You're trying to get into a Zoom meeting. You need to open a piece of software. And then you'll have two other options, whether you join with or without video, and a little bit later on you may have something to do with audio. It's a matter of just following the screen and carrying out the instructions. The important thing is just relax. And I'd recommend that you get into Zoom before your formal classes start. You can just go to zoom.us, have a little bit of a play. Often your teachers will give you an opportunity to get online before the real classes start. So you get in, you learn to mute and unmute, you look around and you leave. Just that kind of process is much better to have out of the way before your real classes. Okay, topic 3, inside Zoom. There are three main things that you need to, the main controls you need to be able to deal with. One is mute or unmute. Another one is stop or start your video off the left there. Next one is leave the meeting. It's pretty final. And just by the way, there is a chat screen, but use with care because often it takes away your concentration from the actual meeting. So there's a random Zoom meeting off Twitter. So good practice on the left. Keep yourself on mute. During the meeting, keep yourself on mute. You can switch off your video if you want to. It's often good to do this if you've got poor internet. But do remember, you're actually at a class meeting and you're being part of it by being there on the video. This is a professional classroom environment and it may be very unusual and strange at first, but you'll get used to it. When you're done, there's the leave the meeting chat. Very difficult to do this as well as attend the meeting. If there's a lot of participants, you'll have several screenfuls. The two buttons to scroll between them are indicated, one to the left, one to the right. Sometimes you can even have 7 by 7 on a screen, which is nearly 50 people showing at once. At the top, speaker view, you can experiment with this. This gives you a different view of your Zoom meeting. Yellow border comes around a person when they speak. You shouldn't be speaking all at once, except possibly if you're saying hello or goodbye. Finally, you'll note screen sharing. Talk more about this in a minute, but you can share your screen with the whole class. Only one person can do this at a time, and the meeting host has power over whether or not this can happen. Okay, next to your name, there's a little menu with 3 dots. You can rename yourself, you can pin your screen, you can do various things there. Have a little bit of a play if you like. So moving on, if you've got problems, this particular presentation, we can't solve every possible problem. But inside of Zoom, there are some settings. They are very well hidden. Find the settings, follow the arrow, click the up arrow next to the video camera. and you'll have some options to test your sound, video, and all sorts of things. So down the bottom, click the arrow, number 1. Number 2, there is a quick overview of the settings: general, video, audio, share screen, chat, virtual background, and so on. Virtual background, you may like to cover up what's behind you. You can choose that. Otherwise, again, there's not a serious presentation to solve all your problems, but this is where you can go and you can ask somebody for help with this. So, to repeat myself, some advice: go on to Zoom before you have your real meetup, and there's the address. Just relax and don't panic. Remember to breathe. All right, finally, learning with Zoom. So there's a typical Zoom class. You will find that your teacher may spend some time presenting to you by sharing their screen, PowerPoint, video, or whatever. You can play MP3s or video files. You can even connect up to a document camera and show maybe working for an example using maths or anything like that. So some tips, very important. When you're online, you show care and respect just like you would in a normal class. There's a little random Zoom class meeting agreement off Twitter again. Be respectful, make sure your words and responses are kind and encouraging. Enjoy visiting with each other online and have fun. So learning with Zoom, some tips. Number 1, get familiar with Zoom before you have a Zoom class meeting. You might even prefer to have earbuds for your Zoom meeting. Tip 2, get comfortable, hydrate, try and put your computer or your phone somewhere where you can be relaxed, a little bit undisturbed, keep your focus. Tip 3, relax, take it step by step, do not panic. Tip 4, ask yourself seriously, what are you here to learn? You may be better to ignore the chat. Sometimes your teacher will give you a little bit of time to pay attention to that. And it's probably better for teachers to ignore the chat as well, or else to take a little bit of a pause inside of the session to all have a read. Tip 5, speaking, use these 4 steps. These are the 4 steps that really help things when you're on Zoom. Unmute, wait about 1.5 seconds, speak slow and relaxed, don't need to be stressed, and then mute again when you're finished. For some reason, that 1.5 seconds, it's like Zoom says, hello, someone's here, and you just get a little bit of an opportunity to say something. Often, if you speak straight away, you can have a bit of a collision. But if you collide with another person, just chill. No one's going to get hurt. And you may be best to keep yourself on mute the whole time. And by the way, if everything turns to custard, there'll be another Zoom class coming up later on. Tip 6 is a controversial one, but I have found that having a pen and paper handy helps with clarity, helps you get the best out of a Zoom, helps you empty your brain if you want to remember something. So, reminder, just relax, don't panic, take it step by step. So, that's it. A very, very brief student's guide to Zoom, but first and foremost, during this unusual time of being in lockdown and in remote classes, look after yourself. Zoom is just a tool. If you've got any feedback, my address is down the bottom.